Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Leicester City in the Community Show. I'm Rukhsana Hussain, your host for today, and we are with you till 12 o'clock, and we will be on Mondays in this blessed month of Ramadan. So today we have two lovely ladies with us who will give us an insight into their roles in sport and some of what is involved in their jobs. And remember, if you would like to ask them a question or share a comment or thought, please do get in touch. And the numbers to get in touch are ringing in to the studio 0116 2822086, or you can WhatsApp or text on 077 488 55055. You can also contact us through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and do listen in. And you are now listening to Ramadan FM 87.7. So those numbers again, studio line, if you want to ring in, 0116 4822086. And then for text and WhatsApp, it's 077 488 55055. So our topic today is vision, mission, and a community iftar. And we'll be talking to two people who live and breathe Leicester City in the community. We have with us our guests, Ali Tripney and Sarah Jones, who will shortly be speaking to you, and you'll be listening to them about their roles and what they do for Leicester City in the community. But before we start, let me introduce to you another exciting part of the show, the competition. So yes, you heard me right, competition time. So everybody likes a competition. So this is how you're going to join us, you're going to get involved, and hopefully we're going to put you forward for the competition, and there will be a winner that will be announced in the last show, which will be on the 8th of April. So the competition, what do you need to do? So what you need to do is you need to follow, share and tag. Sounds simple enough, of course it does. So we'd like you to follow our Instagram page, that's Leicester City Football Club, LCFC_community on Instagram. And when you get there, we'd like you to share our post and tag us, Leicester City in the Community and Ramadan FM. So hopefully you got all of that. And I will repeat it again in a short while, but all you're doing is going onto Instagram to follow, share and tag to your story. So we're going to move on to introducing our guests. So we have with us, firstly, Allison. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Rukhsana. Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. And I look forward to listening a little bit more about what you do. And hopefully the listeners as well, they'll get involved. They'll be hopefully texting in or WhatsApping or maybe even calling in to maybe ask some questions or just some comments about what they hear. So starting with you, Ali, can we first find out a little bit about what your job role is?
Yeah, sure. So I'm head of community at Leicester City in the Community, which means that I've got a fantastic privileged role of leading and managing our charity. We've got 50 staff. 26% of them were former volunteers or participants on our programmes, which we're very proud of. We're diversifying and growing our staff team all the time. And we're also supported by amazing volunteers and a team of sessional staff as well to deliver good cause work across the city of Leicester and beyond, using the fantastic pull of the brand Leicester City Football Club.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So that sounds really exciting. And 50 staff. So that's lots of people in the community working at that grassroots level, hopefully making the difference that we need in our communities. So remember, if you'd like to text in or ring, then you've got the numbers. It's 0116 4822086, or you can WhatsApp or text 0774 88555055. So have your questions or comments ready for Allison, and if not, then Sarah will be speaking too soon. So yeah, we love questions, we love the interaction, so please do get in touch with us. So coming back to you, Ali, what strands does this fall into, and how do you make this happen? So talking about vision and mission, first of all, can you share your vision and mission for us?
Yeah, of course. I mean, my sort of personal vision and mission, I guess, is to ensure that we've got a charity where all members of staff, all volunteers and all participants feel a sense of belonging, really, to our work. And I think that if we feel that we belong to Leicester and to Leicester City in the community and to our football clubs, both our men's team and our women's team.
Oh, it sounds like we have a call. Can I stop you there?
You can.
Right, so
how exciting.
Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Walaikum salam. You okay, Rukhsana?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Shaz?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for calling in. What would you like to share with us?
I just wanted to say you're an amazing person. You do so much for the community, and you have helped me a lot with my mental health and the counseling. I do appreciate that.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Shaz, and we absolutely appreciate you calling in and sharing that with the listeners. And we are here in the community for everyone, and we're happy to hear that we've made a difference. So, no, that's really kind of you to ring in and share that with us. Was there anything else you wanted to say, or did you have a question for Allison?
My twins want to join the competition.
They want to join the competition, right? So have you got Instagram?
Yes,
right.
I do.
So if you get onto Instagram, Leicester City in the community, make sure you follow us, share the post and on your story, and also tag us in as well as Ramadan FM. Does that all make sense?
No, that makes sense. And I wanted to say hi to Allison.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, Shaz.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I've always wanted to come and join at the Leicester City Football Club, but I can't because my babies are really small at the moment, so it's just difficult. But hopefully when they grow up, then I'll definitely join.
Yes, and hopefully we can provide something for your whole family as well. It's lovely for you to call in and be so complimentary.
That's good. Thank you so much. And all of you are doing an amazing job, and we're all proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much, Shaz. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your Ramadan.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye. Walaikum salam.
Oh, that was nice, wasn't it?
And really, that's what it's all about. So a member of our community calling us, thanking us for support with mental health, which is, so important for everyone. And I think particularly, we're living in difficult times with, COVID recovery, with cost of living crisis, with an uncertain political backdrop at the moment and world conflict. And I think when one of our participants can call and say, that we've supported just and made a very, very small difference to how they're feeling, then I feel like, we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, isn't it? That even if people are not coming to our programs, but they're still benefiting from us being in communities and actually working with people. So like she said, she's got twins, very young still. Yeah. So really difficult to get out and actually get to some of our sessions, which are for ladies 18 plus, but to stay interacting with us and just keeping on top of sort of what we're doing and being interested has really helped her just to keep going. So that's really, really good. And we're really glad that she's called in. So amazing. Thank you very much, Shaz. So coming back to talking about the vision and mission.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about, so how does this sort of fall into the day-to-day work that we do, and how do you make it happen, and who else is involved?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have to say, this is a collective effort. So it's collective from our amazing people who we hope feel, that they really belong at Leicester City in the community. And of course to our participants and our partners who will also make it happen. We're organised into different themes, so education, which includes all of our sort of schools work, and support to schools and support to both young people and children and young adults in terms of their education and how we can support them with that. And then our community strand is everything that happens in community settings. And again, our community team, which obviously yourself and Sarah are a huge part of, work with children, young people and adults. And then we're working more and more on targeted interventions. So ensuring that we're reaching the right people in the right place at the right times and really responding to need. And that could be anything from working with people who are in prison, working with young people in care or those with caring responsibilities, down to people that might benefit from a targeted intervention for their mental health, as Shaz mentioned earlier. So I think the key is that we respond to current need. I've already mentioned like changing sort of backdrop and context to our work. We need to be agile, we need to be flexible, but most importantly, we need to be the right people with the right values to carry out this work in the right way.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you. Can I just ask a question about the trustees? What involvement do trustees have in your day-to-day work?
Yeah. So we're a registered independent charity, but we're hugely supported by Leicester City Football Club, which is very welcomed, particularly in this climate. And we know of, and we work with a lot of charities in the voluntary and third sector across the area, and we want to support them with their development as much as we want to develop ourselves. Our board of trustees comprise our independent chair, Mike Kapoor, who's currently Lord Lieutenant of Leicestershire. Now, Mike's involvement is pretty unique, actually. So as well as being our chair and sort of supporting me to strategically lead our charity, he's also a participant on one of our programmes, and he won't mind me saying that he's a walking footballer. He's been very proud to represent Leicester City in the community's walking football team in Leuven, which is a partner club to LCFC with the same ownership. So he's just returned from an international trip to Belgium. Unfortunately, no trophies this time, but he did tell me that he came back with 13 new friends.
Oh, wow.
And I think, what type of sort of impact is that we're having. So I love the fact that he's got strategic oversight, but that is made much richer by his experience as a participant on our programmes.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. And I think that's one of the things that I definitely love about my job, is that you can be involved in so many ways, and actually participants get involved in consultation, they get involved in focus groups, they get involved in having a say. And that is so important to make sure that we are meeting the need, but also that people are part of the decisions. And if we're not part of decisions, we don't feel like they're for us. So I think the really brilliant thing that you've just sort of explained in that is that being part of it as a participant, but actually having that kind of overview as well, and making decisions and knowing how that's going to impact at the grassroots level. So that's really, really good to hear.
Yeah, he's made a real effort to get to know our staff team and our volunteers and our club, of course. And he's joined by our club CEO on the board, Susan Whelan. So we're really proud that we've got a female CEO at our football club. It's still very unusual, even in this day and age. And she's joined by our director of football. And we also, of course, have independent trustees to ensure that there's good balance and good governance across our organisation.
Yeah.
So they make a huge contribution. They were very proactive during our recent week of action, attending staff meetings, attending sessions, meeting staff. So we like to think that governance is really connected to the day-to-day running, but with that respect that we're here to manage the operational side of the charity.
That's brilliant. Thank you. So just before we move on, just in case you've just joined us and you're listening in to Leicester City in the Community Show with me, Rukhsana Hussain, your host. And if you would like to call in, ask any questions, or you have any comments to make, then you can call in on 0116 4822 086, or you can text or WhatsApp on 077 488 55055. And I've got with me Ali Tripney, who is head of community, and we'll shortly hear from Sarah as well, and she'll explain to you what her role is at Leicester City. But coming back to you now, Ali, is we have the saying, there is a place for everyone at Leicester City. Can you tell us, what does that mean for everybody that's listening today?
I hope it means literally that, and I hope it means that we can find or develop or orchestrate a project or a programme that will meet all of our community needs. So it doesn't matter, what gender you might be, how old you might be, and we'll whichever protected characteristics you might have, we want to welcome you into Leicester City and the community. We love our diverse city and the cultural richness here, and we want to reflect that in both our staff team and our projects and programmes. Yeah,
that's brilliant. Thank you. And I think it is so important, isn't it? I think it's one of the things that I know that brought me to Leicester City and the community was the inclusion, is that I felt included. I felt this was something I could do. This was something I could be part of. And I was respected and valued for my opinion and my thoughts, and all the learnings that I had personally from communities as well. So I was able to share that in a safe space. And people were actually listening. And I think it's such an important thing to feel listened to and heard, that I think that for me, I definitely stepped over the line for that reason. And I hope that other people will join us for that reason as well. So thank you very much for that.
I think you jumped over the line, by the way.
I did, after a little push from somebody who's also sitting in the studio with us right now. But no, it's been a journey for me as well. But absolutely, it goes back to encompassing the values of the organisation and everything else that it brings to it. Well, that's a good time to take another call. So we have a caller. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am part of the Active Women, and I'm being awarded with the Inspiring Active Women Award at Leicester City, and I'm really proud about what you do and everything. So it's a great chance for getting women together and participating in the exercises that we do.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for calling in. I know who that is. I recognise the voice straight away. Thank you for calling in. You said you're proud of us, but we are also very proud of you. So can you tell me a little bit about how you feel about winning that award?
I feel really good, and with inspiring a lot of more women out there. So getting together, doing the things that we do, getting fit and, just socialising, it's a great way to get me together.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant because we see your commitment and your efforts, and you're always there. You're coming to all the sessions that you can make, and you're also bringing other women with you and always telling them about it. I know on your WhatsApp groups as well, you're always sharing what Active Women do, and you're always telling people to come along. So thank you so much for that. How's your Ramadan going?
It's going well, alhamdulillah. How about yours?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, it's the first week is over, so I think we've done well so far. So let's see what the next 3 weeks brings. But was there anything you wanted to ask either Sarah or Ali?
It's good that you be together that day, come along as well, when we do things together, we get to meet new people, our part of Leicester City,
Oh, so you want them to come more often. So we need to see Ali more often, don't we, at our sessions? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we do.
Brilliant,
yeah,
okay.
I'll be there. Congratulations on your award, by the way. And I'll definitely be coming along to a few sessions. I needed a break after the last one because Aura definitely put me through my paces. But I'm back and ready for more. So it's really good of you to call in, and really well done on your Inspiration Award.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for calling in. Take care. Have a good day.
Welcome. You too.
Assalamu alaikum. Oh, that was lovely, wasn't it? So, yeah, that caller, she won the Inspiration Award in our awards in January for Active Women, and it's lovely to hear the impact that makes, but also to see how she does inspire other women to come along to our sessions. So, lovely to hear from her. So, coming back to you, Ali, I think that all the questions I did have for you, so, you can relax a little bit now because you've done your bit. But I might come back with a question. But what I'm going to put out to the listeners, I'm hoping people are listening in, is just to make Sarah's life easier, really, is can you text in or WhatsApp and tell us what the values are for Leicester City in the community? So we'd like to hear from you. The number is 077 488 55055, and we want to know if you know what the values are for Leicester City in the community. If you do, text them in. I'll give you a little hint. There's 6. See how many of the 6 that you can name for us. So I'm going to come back to the competition as well. So we have a competition. We need you to get onto the Instagram page for Leicester City in the community, which is LCFC_community. Please join us on that page. Follow, share and tag, and you'll be put into the prize draw for the competition, which will be vouchers, which will be announced on the 8th of April, which will be our last show for Ramadan, and there will be a winner. So please do enter by joining us on the Instagram page and following and tagging us as well. So we're going to move over now to speak to Sarah, who joins us. And hopefully Sarah's going to tell us a little bit again about her role, what she's got planned for this evening today, as well, and some projects that she's leading on. So welcome, first of all, Sarah.
Thank you. It's really nice to be back.
Well, thank you for coming, and thank you for patiently waiting while I was speaking to Ali. But I think it'd be nice now to listen to what you do at Leicester City in the community and what your plans are moving forward. So first of all, to start with then, what is your job role at Leicester City?
So my job title is Community Development Manager, but I started 7.5 years ago as a casual coach. So as Ali mentioned, quite a lot of people have kind of worked through the process. So I saw a job advert and for a kicks coach. I thought, yeah, let's give it a go. Started as a kicks coach, and then I've been massively fortunate to be part of this organisation, to grow and develop and have my own journey. So casual coach, part-time contract, full-time contract, coordinator role, and now I get to be community development manager of these amazing projects.
So really sort of moving up the ladder, as it were, and really just getting to know the organisation, learning at the same time, and then now being in a position where you can hopefully help other people up that ladder. I know that's been my personal journey, is I met you and now I'm sitting here as Active Women Coordinator, and I think the journey for me has been amazing, but it is people like you and Ali that support us through those journeys that get us here. So we see that, we see the organisation wanting to grow people, and we want to be part of that. So I know that for my personal journey, both of you have been instrumental. So I thank you both for that. So coming back to sort of the projects that you run, what projects are you leading on currently?
So the one that most people listening will know is the Active Women Project, which Rukhsana coordinates absolutely brilliantly. So fantastic project with Football Foundation, getting women aged 18 plus active. We've got everything going on from kind of exercise to football. We've even got our own walking football team now that are doing an amazing job. Shout out to all of those guys playing. Another project is Project 15, which is a families project, so a really important project. At the minute, it's based in St Matthews and New Parks, and it kind of looks at kind of family support and the whole wraparound package that a family might need, given everything that's going on at the moment. I've got Football Welcomes Project, which is a project that I've kind of been part of from when I first started, really. It's grown and grown. And that's a project that kind of supports refugees and people seeking asylum, so working with partners in the city, and it's a really important piece of work, especially kind of everything that's going on at the moment. So along with that, I've got a couple of NCS projects, which is for girls in particular, and also there's a football welcome aspect of that as well.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you for sharing that, because I think there sounds like you're doing lots of different things, but so much valuable work. So I think all of those projects you've just spoken about are so important for our communities. Just want to go to a text that we received. The question is, I asked the question and somebody's asking me a question. Is one of the values compassion/respect? Out of those two words, one of them is right. I'm not going to say which one, but let's see if we can get more people to text in. So yes, one of those is one of the 6. Let's see if we can get more people to text in. So the number to text in or WhatsApp is 077 488 55055. By the time I've asked my questions to Sarah, let's see if we can get all the values up there. So coming back to you, can you tell us a little bit more about the NCS programme?
Yes, so like I said, we've got two NCS targeted programmes running at the moment. So we've got one for girls that are in kind of school years 11 and 12. And the aim of that is to look at things like life skills, employability and social action. And that project's been fantastic. The girls have been really engaged and they want to do a big social action piece about safety for women and girls in their area. So really interesting. And then the other one is for unaccompanied asylum-seeking children. So, as we mentioned, linked to that Football Welcomes project, and a really important piece of work. And again, looking at that whole life skills, employability, and that sort of thing.
Brilliant. Just coming back to sort of the aspects of sort of girls, active girls, and then leading into sort of active women. Why is it so important that we're getting women involved or young girls involved in sort of sport and activity, but also those life skills?
I think it's really important because I think what we've seen through the Active Women programme is that a lot of people are saying their daughters are kind of dropping out of that sport and activity thing as they get maybe year 10 and onwards. So we really wanted to kind of look at an intervention that would support that. And it doesn't have to be linked to football, it doesn't have to be linked to sport in particular. It's mainly kind of how can we get girls kind of socially active, get them involved, work out what they want to do, and then provide activities that will be, that you know, that they want to enjoy and they want to learn from.
Yeah. So would you say that you can relate to that, or do you think there was a point in your life where you didn't really interact with sort of sport or any kind of activities, either when you were at school or after you left school? So do you think that's something that happens, is more common than people maybe expect?
I think it is quite common. Personally, not so much, but I was very, very lucky. Sport was my one thing, I would say. But I think from the people that I spoke to, the people that I've worked with, that seems to be a real kind of common thing, that kind of almost drop out of sport and physical activity, and kind of not getting back into it until they're in the 40s. So we're kind of almost missing that whole generation of girls and having the chance to be active.
Just to bring you in there, Ali, what are your thoughts around sort of girls maybe not feeling confident about being active, and that can be socially active or physically active, and what do you think that people could do to sort of help young girls?
Yeah, I mean, the Sport England data shows a huge drop-off age 14, and I think I think there are some fantastic PE teachers out there. Mine certainly were, even though like sport wasn't my thing, unlike Sarah. I think it just needs to change around really simple things like what to wear when it happens in the daytime, the changing and showering facilities, but also the offer that's available. So one of the things I really enjoy doing is walking. And I think if I'd had an opportunity to do more, walking activities, then I would have engaged more. And I do apologise now to my PE teachers for some of the things that I might have caused disruption with. But I'm also really grateful to them for giving us, as young people then, the opportunity to sort of shape what we were doing. I think mindfulness is key. And any the sort of relationship between physical activity and mental health really needs to be explored further. And I think if we got away from thinking it was all about competition and team sport, and we had a much more of a blended approach, then we could encourage girls that are at school to continue staying physically active beyond. So it's the curriculum for me that needs to change.
Yeah, I agree. I think having 3 daughters, I think speaking to them and really just trying to engage with them in conversation around what is it that stops them from carrying on after they've left school. So 2 of them have already left school, 1 is still in school, but the 2 that have left said the same thing. They didn't really enjoy it while they were at school. Yeah. They didn't really make that connection with sport. They didn't really find something they really, really enjoyed that they can then carry on. So I think it's so important to find that sort of interest or fun in sport that you would like to carry on. And also, I think just maybe teachers looking at what children are good at, and that can be for boys and girls, but really what do they enjoy, but also where is their skill? Because if they've got a skill and they know they're good at something, they'll continue that and try and enhance that. But if they feel that they're not good at something or nobody's telling them they're good at something, then it's really hard to continue that, isn't it? Where you don't feel the confidence to carry on and you start dropping. So your confidence drops, your self-esteem, and you just think, well, actually, I'm not very good at that, so I'm not going to do it. Especially when you've got 1 or 2 children maybe in the class that are really good at something and they get those opportunities. How can we make that an opportunity for everyone? I think that's so important.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think, you've done a great job in terms of building active women from that premise, where it could be walking football, but it's fun and it's engaging regardless of ability. Like even I've played that with you. And then the exercise to music is individual and it's differentiated. So, depending on where you're at in terms of your fitness and your stamina, you can join in regardless. Rounders in the park, it doesn't have to be in a gym, which is, I think, are still quite male-dominated facilities. It doesn't have to be an element of competition. I think if the focus is on enjoyment and movement, then you can find something that you really love amongst all of that, as well as the sort of friendship and the connections that brings.
Yeah, I agree. Did you want to add anything to that, Sarah?
Nothing, it's just absolutely spot on. I think that's how we've tried to model the programme, about the girls having that choice and not being prescriptive about it.
And just coming back to your Football Welcomes project, where obviously people coming from different countries, English not being their first language always, how do you engage them in sport, and does language become a barrier? Because a lot of people will say that language isn't a barrier for sport, and language isn't a barrier to have fun. So what do you think? Do you agree?
Lots of questions all at once. So first of all, yes. So first of all, football seems to be really, really universal. So in terms of engaging, we have a lot of people get involved, come and play football, and when everyone's on the pitch, it's just kind of that football, that sport language, and not an issue at all. There are obviously some barriers, some challenges around it. So things like we look at the NCS, but we want to do a little bit more around the education and the employability. So it's just around kind of making sure we're working with the right people. Some of our, as we talked about, grow your own, one of our participants from Football Welcomes from maybe 5-6 years ago is now one of our staff team. So kind of that language, that barrier, but also that kind of aspirational part of it is all there as well for the guys. So I think hopefully that's all of your questions.
Yeah, it was. I apologise for all the questions at once. I just got really excited and really passionate about, just that whole thing. Because I think sometimes we we assume that people can't get involved because they don't speak English or they don't speak enough English, they're not going to understand. But actually we can show people skills, and it's that visual learning, isn't it, that we go back to. And a lot of times it's not about having to give lots of instructions. I know I gave you about 4 questions in one, but we don't do that usually, do we? I just did that to test you, really.
Absolutely.
So,
but it is all about
important.
that kind of making sure we have the right people delivering the right projects as well. So, you know, having a participant that speaks the language of some of the guys, or, you know, same on Active Women, making sure we've got the right people in the right places is also massively important too.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you very much. So moving on to the next question then. I'll just go through the numbers again because I haven't had any more of the values text in or WhatsApped in. So the number to text or WhatsApp what the Leicester City and the community values are is 077 488 55 055. Let us know if you know the values. You can guess. It's okay to get things wrong. That's not a problem. We can always guess. What do you think the 6 values of Leicester City and the community are? Do text us in. And if you want to ring in and you want to call, you want to speak to Ali or Sarah or myself, then do call. It's 0116 4822 086. So coming back to you, Sarah, you've got something happening at the King Power Stadium tonight. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
So we're all very much looking forward to this evening. We're hosting an iftar for our Football Welcomes project this evening. So we're going to have up to 70 people coming to join us to have a bit of a ground tour and then break fast all together as a big group, which is going to be absolutely amazing. We're all very much looking forward to it. That
sounds really exciting. And you've done one of these before, haven't you? Because I remember being invited and I attended. So tell us a little bit about how it went last time when you did this.
So last time, I think it was the first time that I'd actually participated in the fast throughout the day. So obviously a big event, a little bit nervous, a little bit of talking to kind of the dry mouth and that sort of thing. But it was, for me, the spirit of it, everybody getting together and kind of breaking fast together. It just felt absolutely amazing. The participants, the young people that were there really enjoyed it, and having kind of different people from all different organisations, different communities was so positive.
Yeah. And was that the first time that you had fasted, or had you done it before?
That was the first time that I'd fasted. So that was, for me, it was the experience was fantastic actually to be part of it as well as just hosting it. So
yeah, brilliant. If I could come to you, Ali.
Yes.
Have you fasted before, and how was it for you if you have?
I have. I did it last year as well. I thought it was important because I think, someone's just WhatsApped in and said, is one of our values compassion? You'll come on to what they actually are. It isn't quite, but we do need to put ourselves in each other's shoes to really understand each other. And we do a lot of that. And one of the examples is that a lot of our staff that aren't Muslim do fast during Ramadan for part of it, just to experience it and to enable us to see what it's like to get through the working day, for example. Mm-hmm. And that sort of coming together and that belonging at the iftars that Sarah mentioned. So I think last Ramadan I was fortunate enough to go to 3 iftars, and I fasted on the days of each of them, and I found it a really rewarding and sort of bonding experience, if I'm honest.
Brilliant. No, thank you. And I would like to say thank you because I think it's so important when colleagues fast with us, because it's true, you do get that kind of experience, and it can be difficult to fast, especially in the early days because your body's not used to it. So you start to feel tired, and the afternoons, you're not as, probably productive as you normally would be in the morning. And I know that I think last week I woke up at Sehri time, which is in the morning before dawn, and I had my food, but then I couldn't get back to sleep. So I actually thought, you know what, I'm going to do a bit of work, and I actually got lots done just in that 1 hour before I had to get little one off to school. So I think just having that kind of times, and really just the flexibility, which I know that I've definitely got at work, and I hope that other people have got at work, is that I can work the hours that I need to work, but over the day when I feel that I'm best productive, because there's absolutely no point me trying to do any work when I'm feeling really tired or just not being able to focus. And it can do that to you when you've not eaten, you're feeling dehydrated, the focus can go. So just, be mindful. That's okay. Have the conversations with your employers. And if it's difficult, then, don't struggle through it. Some of the difficulty is part of why we do it, but don't struggle to the point that, you're not feeling like you're productive, or you've got important things that you should be doing and you're missing out. Just reach out and ask for help, or have the conversation, is what I would say, because I absolutely think every time I have had the conversation. It's been really, really productive and supportive for others as well, other colleagues. So it looks like we've had another text. I don't know whether to read them all out. I'll have to read them all out, won't I? Somebody's got them all. So we have the values. We have engage, inspire, empower through togetherness, respect and pride. So thank you so much for whoever sent that in. If we have a name and we can share it, we'll get it up on the screen. But you're absolutely right. So that is...
That's a member of staff.
Oh, is it?
I reckon. My money's on a member of staff
Is
for that
it?
one.
Well, we've got a name up there, which I don't recognise.
Which is not their name.
Yeah, so, but thank you very much for texting in, because you're absolutely right. And these are the things, the values that we sort of live and breathe every single day, regardless of whether we're at work or not at work, regardless of whether we're in the kit or not in the kit. One of the things that people always ask me is, what about when you're not at work? But these values, they have to be within you. And if you've got these values and they're part of you, who you are, the core person that you are, then you can do this job really easily. And if they're not part of you, there's some things you can learn. I think there's absolutely things that we can learn to engage with people, and we can inspire people through our experiences. So there are things that we can always improve on or learn. But some of those things, they just have to be part of who you are. And when they're part of who you are, your job just becomes so much easier. What do you guys think about that, Ali?
I totally agree. And I think... it's the most important thing when we're looking for staff and volunteers to join our organisation at any level, really. Mm-hmm. We can teach skills, but we need to ensure that we've got a collective approach and a values-based approach to be able to do what we do successfully. So absolutely 100% agree.
Brilliant. Thank you. Sarah?
Yeah, same. So everyone's recruited based on that, but also kind of developed and around kind of each personal development is based around those values. And embedded in the projects as well. So I'm sure, Danielle, you'll be following those as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Danielle, for those. And for anyone else that text, and the earlier text that we got about compassion and respect as well, thank you to you. And I think compassion is probably an umbrella that sort of falls over most of those and the work that we do as well. And I think that compassion is something that you do have to have in order to do the work that we do, because we come across so many different communities, different people, and different challenges and issues that we face. And without compassion, it can be really difficult to work through them. And as Ali said earlier, stepping into somebody else's shoes can be really difficult. But if we can do that for each other and be there for each other and understand each other better, then we're much better at what we're doing. So I absolutely love the values. I live the values. I love the values and live them. And I talk about them all the time. And a lot of people will ask me, what is it that made you work for Leicester City in the community? And I always go back to that. I said I felt connected to the values, and that's what made me decide to actually apply for the job. And then now I'm still here 18 months later. So I'm very excited, and I celebrate every month, as my colleagues know. Every month is like a little celebration of reflection from me about how I'm doing, but also how much I'm enjoying my job. I love waking up in the morning knowing where I'm going. So that's really good. If anybody else loves their job, feel free to text in and tell us, what do you do and what do you love about your job? So remember, the numbers are for texting in and WhatsApp is 0774 88 55 055, or you can call in on 0116 48 22086. We're coming up to sort of the last 5 minutes of the show. So if you guys do want to text in, get your texts in the next 5 minutes so I can read them out. So coming back to you, Sarah, we had the values up on the board. Somebody has texted in, Danielle has texted in and told us what they are. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about which one that you maybe probably connect with the most? If more than one, that's fine too. And why?
Oh, that's a very, very difficult question. So it's something that we've kind of talked quite a lot about recently, something I've thought about. And all of them are massively important to me, and I try and live and breathe all of them. But I think for me at the moment, empower is quite important to me. So one of the best things that I love about my job is the people that I work with, and being able to kind of give them the opportunity to support them to kind of grow into what they want to do. So in terms of almost stepping away, giving people the chances, giving them the opportunities and the ownership, and that's just not just the staff team but participants as well. So looking at the projects that we do, actually, how can we help people kind of carry on and do the amazing work. So
brilliant, thank you. And Ali, if I was to ask you to pick one, which one would you pick and why?
I'm going to pick togetherness. It's hard to choose one, of course, but that one really resonates with me because some people say a leadership role could be really lonely and it's lonely at the top. I don't particularly feel that loneliness because I feel like as a team we're very together, and I feel that I'm as well supported by my colleagues as I hopefully support them, and I think that's probably quite unusual in an organisation, to be the person that ultimately takes accountability and responsibility, but to have that support from people of a whole range of different roles within your organisation, I think is huge for me and my sort of personal development and also my mental health and well-being, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think that I could speak sort of for myself in terms of other organisations that I've worked for, and it's been really difficult because it doesn't always feel like we're together, and it does sort of feel like somebody from the top is just telling us what to do without any explanation about why we're doing it or even understanding why we can't do something. And I think that what I do love about the organisation and everybody that works together in it is that togetherness, because without that it's really difficult, because every day isn't the same. That's one of the things about our job, isn't it? Every day is not the same. You don't know what challenge you might face. You don't know how things will go. You don't know, when we sometimes get to sessions, we don't know how many participants we might have. But actually being together and working together really makes that easier, that we work together, we support each other, and that togetherness can be felt through the staff, but also the participants, which we heard from earlier in the show. So that's really, really nice. So we are coming towards the end of the show, but I've got a final question for you both. Luckily, they're not the same question, so you can't copy each other's answer. So I was going to keep them the same, and then I decided not to. And Sarah's had a little bit of help with her question, so I might have to add a little one on after, but we'll see. But Ali, coming to you, what's the best thing about your job?
Oh, the people, without a doubt, the people. You spend more time sometimes with your work colleagues than you do your friends and family. So for me, it has to be the people. For that reason, and going back to to what I said about togetherness and having people around me that are inspiring every day. And you know what, just really nice people, and that's absolutely the best bit.
Yeah, sometimes I think people might think that we get paid to say this, but absolutely, we love working with each other.
Yeah, I mean,
people
I could have said
sure?
The opportunities that it affords and the amazing experiences I've had, like travel and. Football-related opportunities, but none of that comes close unless you've got the right people around you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for sharing that, and I absolutely agree with that the people make the job easier. Everything else happens, and you can have challenges with that and work them out, but actually you can't change people. So having good people around you is important. So coming back to you then, Sarah, we were going to ask you the question, what are the organisational values, which we've already had, but I'm still going to ask you that. But I'm going to say to you, if you were to add another, what would it be?
I feel like I'm getting a lot of difficult questions.
Well, we can't make life easy for everybody, can we?
No. I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to go with compassion.
Okay.
Just because of how it kind of, we want to create that sense of belonging. We want everyone to feel welcome in Leicester, in the community, in Leicester as a whole, and kind of having that compassion and having that sense of what everybody else might be going through. And if we can kind of grow that throughout the whole staff team, I think that would be amazing. I think it could just kind of oversits everything that we talk about in the values.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that. Thank you both for joining me today. It's been a pleasure, as always. And thank you to all the listeners that have been with us, engaged with us, sent some questions in, also called in as well. So thank you for the callers. Thank you to those who did get onto the Instagram page and follow and share and tag. We will be collecting names and then popping them into a hat, and that will be drawn on the 8th of April. I wish you all the best of luck for Ramadan, and I hope that it goes well for everybody. Do tune in next week. We'll be speaking to Dr. Alex, who will be sharing with us all things sustainability and how we can help care for the environment we live in. Dr. Alex will also tell us about some of the projects he is involved in at Leicester City in the community, and hopefully he will also give us some advice around sustainability for Ramadan. You have been listening to Radio Ramadan with the Leicester City in the Community show, and I have been your host, Rukhsana Hussain, and thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you will join us again next week on Monday between 11 and 12 when we have Dr. Alex joining us, and we'll be back with you 2 weeks after that on the 8th of April, which will be the final show for Ramadan, but it won't be the final time that you hear from us. We will be back, I'm sure. But thank you so much. I hope you have a blessed Ramadan, and I'd like to wish all the listeners a peaceful time, and just to remember that this month is about reflection and helping each other, but also thinking about the kind of things that we might need in order to improve ourselves and be better versions of ourselves. So if we can all think about that and make that happen, and use other people around you to support you as well. So thank you so much. I wish you all the best. It's Rukhsana Hussain, your host for today, Leicester City in the Community show.